Friends, good Erev Yontiv, good Moed. It's good to see everybody again, to be seen, and just wanted to make kind of a vlog, I think is the term, about the various fun activities we did over Yontiv, over Chol Hamoed, and then maybe on the way home, after the mikveh, Mirz Hashem, we'll talk a little bit about Torah things, Yontiv, Shvishal Pesach, the kedusha of the day, the holiness of this holiday that we're starting tonight. But I feel like I want to go to the mikveh first before we do that. But gonna do a little Yontiv shopping. There's a few nice groceries open all year round here in Sullivan County, so I'm heading to my friend Mr. Lowen, Mr. Levin. He pronounced it sometimes different ways. And his Levine, he has two grocery stores, and he has one right on the Route 42. And that's where I'm gonna go get a few things for Yontiv. Although Baruch Hashem, we have plenty of stuff, a lot of matzah. We got a lot of stuff for Yontiv. Baruch Hashem, the chalukas they gave out in the summer. There's a few things that the kids will like, enjoy. It was beautiful Yontiv, a beautiful Chol Hamoed, and so and I posted some videos from our Chol Hamoed trip, and I want to talk a little about where we went. It's always better for safety reasons to do that after a vacation rather than during it, so people don't know that you're away from your home. But Baruch Hashem, we live in a relatively safe neighborhood. You never know, So Tuesday we went down to New Jersey, and we took my wife and all the kids. We went to an arcade in Westfield, New Jersey. And my wife used to work in Westfield in a few different places, so she knows the area very well. Cute little town, and about 2 hours from our home. And I had been there before with one of my sons, who's a big fan of classic video games. He loves, especially on YouTube, to watch videos about the classic video games. And so it was a nice thing that we went there, and it was quite beautiful that we went there to for an hour. It's a little bit under $10 an hour, and you can play all the games you want. And there's a lot of YouTube videos about this place. It's quite an interesting place to visit, and there's actually more than one, but this is the one we've been to before. We're thinking maybe seeing some of the other ones. And it's basically old arcade machines and pinball machines, but also other game things, chess set, pool tables, and they also have consoles, and you can play the original console games. And that was something my son was very excited about, to play Super Nintendo and to play Atari on the actual console. I'm happy to play them on my phone, but I want to relax a little bit. You can download some emulators and ROMs and play the old games, and it's amazing how little memory a game like Super Mario Brothers takes up less memory than a JPEG. It's really quite a small file that contains a lot of information, and it's interesting how things have changed over the years. So that was where we went on Tuesday, and after that, I had last year Chol Hamoed, I brought some of the kids, not all of them, to the American Dream Mall Chol Hamoed Sukkos. So we decided, the whole family, on the way back from the Yestercades arcade in Westfield, New Jersey, we went to the American Dream Mall, which is next to the Meadowlands, and it's owned by a frum person, Mr. Gamazian. And when we went Chol Hamoed Sukkos, it was almost all frum people there, because it was like it just opened. And this time it was nice to see there was a more diverse crowd there, but also a lot of frum people also. And it was nice. We really just walked around. I don't think we even bought anything there. I think we were just walking around, and then we stopped in Teaneck to go to the grocery store, get a few things for the kids to eat. And then that was our day Tuesday, and it was a lot of fun. And then Wednesday, which we posted videos of, we drove much further. We drove almost about 4-hour trip each way, so 8 hours in the car to go up to Rochester. And the only thing we did was went to this one museum called the Strong Museum, and it's a museum. Has other things as well, but it's really a museum dedicated to play and games and fun. So with the history of it, the history of different toys, and the history of, they have video games and television shows, and I'm very interested in history, and it was very nice. And they also had a small butterfly garden that also had some pitcher plants, which is interesting. I'm always fascinated by the carnivorous plants. And they had a chameleon, and I showed a video of that. The chameleon was a panther chameleon. I didn't realize how big they get. And some turtles they had there, and some little birds walking around. It was quite a nice little garden they had there. And then again, all the games, the pinball machines was one exhibit, and the arcade games and the other video games. It was a lot of fun, and it was well worth driving 4 hours each way, 8 hours in the car to enjoy this very nice museum. And they had exhibits of Sesame Street and the Berenstain Bears and a lot of other interesting programs there. So we really enjoyed ourselves. And then and that's all we did there. We also stopped at a little kosher butcher there just to see. Really wasn't anything that we were looking for to eat, and we weren't really interested in having things that was cut from the butcher there. It's an old-fashioned type of a kosher butcher, which is something you don't really see anymore these days. But they had a few other Pesach-dik things, but it wasn't like what we're used to nowadays, like a kosher grocery. It was really more the old-fashioned kosher butcher, which was really interesting to see. And in their advertisement, they said that they've been around for 70 years, and it's the only standalone kosher butcher between Albany and Cleveland. So meaning the whole Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, I guess, again, because you think of Pittsburgh, they have in Squirrel Hill, they have Murray's, which is more of a full-service grocery. It is a kosher butcher in a deli, but it's much bigger, and so there's much more things to buy. But it was still interesting, historically, to see the shuls there. We saw from the outside 2 of the shuls in Darton and Rochester. It was very interesting. So yesterday we were tired from a long trip, so we got up pretty late. We were originally thinking that we would get in the car and go to Middletown to the mall and see the movie, go see the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie that came out on Wednesday. And we debated back and forth. We'd have to figure out where to, if maybe my mother would watch the babies, and we didn't want to trouble her that much. And also all of the 3D shows were sold out already. So that was part of the novelty of seeing it in the theaters, to see in 3D. So we realized that to get HBO Max, because we have a Roku, is going to be more affordable than going out to the movies, and especially if it's not going to be in the and there's other mileage to that. Is that you could pause it, want to daven Mariv, want to bench, want to use the facilities so we could pause the movie. And so we got to see Godzilla vs. Kong. We actually first watched the original King Kong vs. Godzilla from 1962 or 63, I think is when it was released in America, which I'd seen many, many times, and it's a fun movie. And I'd actually met Haruo Nakajima, who played Godzilla in that movie, and I think in 11 Godzilla movies. He's since passed away, but I got his autograph and I took a picture with him. He was a very nice gentleman. It was a great honor to meet him. And he had also played King Kong in the second of the Toho King Kong movies. There were only two. Was the King Kong Escapes. Now, once we got HBO Max, we got to see something that I'd never seen before, and we were kind of chalishing to see. Was a few years ago, my wife and I and two of our children were extras in a mini-series that I'm somewhat ambivalent about. It was interesting, called the Plot Against America, which I was a little bit uncomfortable about because I felt like it was kind of anti-Trump, and my wife said, you're reading too much into it, not everything's about Trump. But I was like, no, a lot of people, that's how they read it, the anti-Trump people, and but anyway, it was interesting. We didn't watch the whole program because it was over 6 hours long, but we were trying to find the part of the show that we were in, and there's 6 episodes, right? So we looked at the descriptions of the episodes and we had an idea what the scene that we were in was like. We had an idea what the scene that we were in looked like. It was filmed maybe an hour and a half from our home in upstate New York, and they said they wanted, obviously Jewish people to be extras in the movie. So we got paid pretty well between my wife and I and the kids. And basically we just had to be in costume, which was our regular clothes. We talked about this. It was a few years ago. It was probably 2018, 2019 when we did this. Took the day off work, and it was fun. And we did this movie, this TV show, mini-series. It was just extra work, and we got paid, between us all together, $200, and it was fun. And we'd never seen the actual show, so we saw it's available on this HBO Max, because HBO show. So we're gonna watch it, not watch the whole thing. We really just want to look for ourselves. So we looked through the different episodes, and we first saw there was episode 3 looked like that could be it. So we looked at we watched a little bit of it, fast forward, watched, and we were like, no, that's not it. And then we were like, episode 4, that doesn't sound like it. We're gonna go to episode 5. And then we looked through episode 5 because that sounded more like it. No. And episode 6, no. Then we went 1 and 2. Finally we went to episode 4. That's the one we looked at last. We looked at all the others, and about 12 minutes in was the scene that we were in, and you could not see us. Meaning they were so careful even that my daughter couldn't wear her glasses because they looked too modern, because they're plastic glasses and they wouldn't fit in the 1940s. And your mamish couldn't see us. We were still very excited, and we rewound it and tried to watch it a few times, and maybe kind of see my silhouette somewhat, but not really. And I don't know why, they put in so much work for that, and then that it should be so accurate and everything, and you couldn't see anything. So then once we did that, so my wife went to bed, but like the kids asked what other movies, they mentioned other movies I was an extra in. So 2 of them are available on Amazon Prime. One is called David Meyer, which is a very good, nice, Frum movie. kind of like a Jewish take on Mary Poppins, but with a little boy instead. And it's a nice movie, a good story. I really haven't made it through the movie. I get kind of tired from it, but I watched about half of it, and what I've seen is good. Maybe should have watched that yesterday instead of Godzilla. But the Godzilla versus Kong, maybe we'll talk more about that. And then, so I'm right in the beginning of the movie. You can see me. And then there's another movie. It's also on Amazon Prime. I mean, not Amazon Prime. You have to pay for it. It's on Amazon. Both of them are on Amazon. You have to pay for. It was a movie called "And Then Came You," about a girl who's dying from cancer. And one of the scenes near the end of the movie, about an hour in, she wants to cover all her bases. That's her bucket list, is that she wants to get a blessing from every religion. So you see, like, a priest is there with her, and gives her a hug, and then you see in the hallway outside waiting are representatives from various religions. So you see me there, and it's very clear that it's me. And already twice people asked me, once at work and once a friend of mine, they asked me, "Oh, was that you in that movie?" And I was like, "Why did you watch that movie?" So anyway, that's so then I was like, but there was one thing that I was in that I actually had lines, it was called Red Hook. And I don't think it was ever released. And I was like, what's this? It's Red Hook. I want to, I'd seen they made like a little trailer for it, but there was no full thing of Red Hook. So then I was looking through Vimeo, and that's where I'd seen it before. And then I found it was a few years ago. It was from 8 years ago that it was posted. And I think I made this show more than 10 years ago, probably even 11, 12 years ago. It was for Long Island University. And I think I was still living in Virginia. Anyway, might have been when we first moved to New York. So then maybe, like 10 years ago. But I had a speaking role in this show. And I never saw my part as far as I can remember. And I found it and I posted it here. And you have to avert your eyes for some of the scenes with it's nothing really salacious, but the attire is not so appropriate. But it was really great to see myself in this show, and even I had a line that they put in there, and I put it up here on YouTube. So so that was also an exciting part of the Yontif experience. So Chol Hamoed. So now it's Erev Yontif. We're working in different ways. So thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you all later.